Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and welcome to another one of our house flipping videos. This is a house you guys saw last week if you subscribed to my channel, and it was partially staged. Nikki, my project manager, had done the staging, but she wasn't done yet, and apparently I was not very clear on that because we got a ton of comments about how bad the staging looked and how it just wasn't a nice house and just all kinds of stuff. And I reshot the video to show you what it looks like now that it's completely done. And I just want to talk about this a little bit because it shows how important it is to have houses looking as nice as you can have them looking right when you put them up for sale. So a lot of times I will do my after the house flip video when it's not quite done. It's not quite clean or it's not quite staged. It's just not quite there. And I do those videos because some of these properties are kind of far away. I have a lot going on and I don't have time to just drive back every single day until the house is done to do the video. Or I don't have a video planned for that day and I really want to shoot a video, so I just do the video. But every time we show a house before it's kind of ready to list, we get these comments about, oh, this is my least favorite house. This house is horrible. You know, it needs so much work. We really don't like it. And it's a very emotional response, and that is what you will get from most buyers. So a lot of people say, hey, I don't want to replace the carpet. I don't want to paint. We're just going to give an allowance for that for the new buyers because they'll probably change all that anyway. And you're usually costing yourself a lot of money when you do that because buyers can't imagine what a house will look like. Some can, but most of them cannot. And even if they can imagine it, they let their emotions kind of subconsciously say, oh, we don't like this house because we'd have to paint it, the carpet's not good, the floor plan's bad. Even though the house might be perfect for them, if they saw it once it was done and repaired, they can't get past what it looks like now. So, while we do show some of our videos before it's quite done, and we usually get these comments, that's okay. It's understandable because that's how humans react emotionally to things they see. Whereas if we're completely finished, it's all done, it's staged, it's clean, everybody loves those houses. So if you're selling houses, remember that. The cleaner it is, the nicer it looks. If you can stage them, it helps them sell quicker. And since we have been staging them in the last 6 months or so, we have noticed properties selling faster. And if anything else, the pictures look so much nicer with them staged, and of course using professional photographers as well. So let's get right to the house. You can see it now. I talked about it in the first video, but we bought this for $262 from the MLS, spent $50,000 on repairs, although that's gonna jump up a lot as you'll see in this video, and we listed it for $449. Already had some showings, but you can see that house right now. Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. And as you can see, it's a very snowy day, so I'm not getting an outside shot of this house. But this is the house I showed last week with Nikki's staging, and everybody got mad at me or said the staging was horrible, but that was my fault because it wasn't done yet. So I came back to show what it looks like now and how the house looks. Much different than it was before. So I thought it was obvious before, since there were rugs laying on the wall and a broom laying on the floor, that it wasn't done. But just to be clear, it wasn't done. And the floors were cleaned, and then with the snow, and we've had some showings, they are dirty again. So something you have to deal with on house flips, especially country properties like this, where you kind of have a dirt driveway, dirt walkway. You're gonna have a messy house at times. And if they don't sell right away, it's a good idea to actually have your cleaners come back through every once in a while. It's usually worth the cost versus having a dirty house. All right, so those are the 3 bedrooms. It is kind of weird how they connect to each other, and people commented how we should have closed them off. In a perfect world, you do everything. You fix every single thing in the house, you make it perfect. But in reality, that costs you quite a bit of money to redo all that trim, sheetrock, frame it in. It's quite a bit of work to take those doors out. And it probably won't affect the value at all. to leave them there. So that's why we left them there. And it might be nice for some people if they want to have, you know, a master in there with a big closet in here. You never know. So we didn't take those doors out. And then here in the kitchen, a lot of people wanted us to take this wall out and open up the kitchen, which, I mean, technically could be done, but that's an exterior wall for one thing. This used to be the outside of the house. Then there's the porch. So you would have to do some work structurally to make that work, although there are some windows and doors in it. And then, you know, you have your laundry room out here. So I guess you'd extend that wall over here somewhere and have a doorway, unless you just had it open, which might be kind of weird because your washer and dryer go right there. So you might end up having to move plumbing and wiring over there. And then I guess you'd put some more counters right here, but you won't have uppers because you've got windows unless you decide to take windows out. So you'd have less countertop unless you left it open, like I said. There's really nowhere to put anything here because your doorway's there, your doorway's there, your doorway is there. And what you would be gaining is a different level floor. Oh, you'd have to move your dryer vent over there as well. You would have to move some of that wiring up there. And you'd still have kind of this basic kitchen over here with, I guess, a little bit slightly more space with almost no more countertops than you have just because of the weird configuration. And you're moving plumbing. If you want to move your sink out there, which people suggested, electrical, wiring, as an expensive repair for not gaining very much. So that's why we didn't do it. Someone else suggested, you know, taking that out and increasing the size of the kitchen. But then again, you have this weird kind of, you know, I guess you put a counter there, but then you have to open it up into here, and it's just a weird small counter. You lose your built-in. It just did not make sense to us to spend $10,000 rearranging the kitchen when you're not getting anything that much better. So that's the reason we left it how it is. Plus, when you're doing the number of flips we're doing, where we have 13 going at once, and we don't have enough contractors to do all the work, adding jobs like this can add a month, 3 weeks to the time frame, which means the next project gets delayed 3 weeks, the next project after that gets delayed 3 weeks, and it's just a snowball effect where you just don't have the time to make everything look as perfect as you'd like. And houses in the country like this will still sell without them being perfect. All right, now, something else I mentioned is the basement, and we're gonna have someone come clean it up. Well, as you can see, we had asked our guy to come down here, get all the paint off, and paint everything, and that's how it is. We thought he was done, and obviously it looks slightly better, but not nearly as good as it should look, because we had extra paint here. Some of it was cleaned up, but yeah, it's just not completely done. One of the frustrating things of flipping houses and trying to get work done in general on properties. I think we've asked a number of people who've worked on this house. We've had a few contractors just to do small, simple things like that that don't get done. All right, so that's what the house looks like right now. Nothing crazy was done extra with the staging, but I think it looks better. It's pretty simple stuff. You can see it there now. And I agree, it did not make sense to have the little couch in front of the stove. And that was not the plan from the beginning. The other little hiccup snag we ran into was, I'm not going to go out there right now, but you can see those two holes right there. That's for the septic, the two lids, and partially my fault. While Nikki was on maternity leave, I completely spaced having the septic looked at and we did have it looked at, and it's junk. It is a cinder block septic tank, so basically just seeping through the cracks into the ground. So we have to get a brand new septic tank, and I told Nikki not to tell me how much that costs, but it's going to be pretty expensive, probably between 10 and 20,000. So that will be happening here in the next few weeks. They'll have to dig up the old one, tear it out, get a soil test, get the new one, install it, and then we'll have a brand new septic for the property. So at least we thought of getting it tested and looked at before it was under contract and for sale, because that could have added weeks to that timeline as well. And now we can also advertise it as going to have a new septic. All right, so I think that was all I was going to talk about on this house. Nothing changed up here. We did not stage the cool little finished attic. So that's just as it looks. So it has been listed for a couple days now, and we've had a few showings. One buyer, their agent did say there's some people who are very interested in it. They sent us some questions yesterday, so we'll see if anything comes of that, and we'll try and keep you updated on this house as well as other projects coming up here soon. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back with many more videos coming up here. Try to do 2 to 3 a week of our flips, rentals, advice, and other great stuff. All right, we appreciate all the follows, the likes, the comments, subscriptions, all that good stuff. And you can always see the numbers on all our flips at investformore.com/flips with videos as well. All right, take care.